So welcome to everybody. It's time for the Monday webinar. Again, to all the newest people that are on for maybe a first time, it is very excellent to see you all with us today. Very welcome to you. If anyone has any questions or comments, please type them in. I would love to hear them. I'd love to see them. Let's get some feedback on some pairs that you guys are interested in. I'm going to talk about some pairs that I'm interested in and just overall some good setups that we have coming this week. So I'm pretty excited about that. Let's look at this little detail right here for a moment. Yes, and we're going to get to a bunch of different pairs, so just start spouting them out, and I'll try to cover everything I can. Okay, so a couple little items. First off, for all members of the website, let me just remind this little detail here. Go to telegram.org. For everybody that is a member, now we have a lot of visitors today, so this won't apply to you, but I just want to let everyone know that is a member of the website. If you go to telegram.org, you will be able to download the version of your website here the version that you need to work on your mobile phone, whether you have an Android or an iPhone or a Windows Mobile or whatever it might be. So just have a look at that website, because this is our mobile trading platform that we use to get out mobile trade alerts. So make sure you guys go there. That's item number one of administrative business. Number two, the website has turned out to be maybe the largest headache of my entire life. So this is all very temporary how it is set up right now, but it is totally functional. So when you go to the website, for all members, when you go to daytradersfx.com, it's going to look like this. It'll give you an option to log in over here with your regular login stuff. Do so. Once you get logged in there, you'll see under the Home tab is our trades, live session recordings, chat login, video tutorials, all the basics. Everything will be there. Once you get logged in. This is only going to hopefully be, I've been working on it for quite some time now, and hopefully we will have most of the biggest things finished tonight, and it's going to look basically 100% different than it currently does. But getting these websites done is so much worse than I remember. So I have a lot of little details to finalize before I bring the other site live. But everything's here. So remember, once you're logged in at daytradersfx.com, home will take you to trades and all those details there. And I heard somebody, I think Dennis or somebody, said that the trades, you have to use the scrolling bar. That's just temporary. That's for now. But you can still see everything. Everything works. It's all functioning. Okay, that's the website. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what we have as far as news goes this week. Now, remember, also on the website, when you go to daytradersfx.com, if you scroll down a little bit, for those that would like to start a free trial with us, just click on that Get Started, and you can get a 5-day free trial or annual membership or anything you want at that page. It's just daytradersfx.com/join. And if you go to the website and scroll down, it's just right there. So we'd love to have you. We have some great things to be watching this week, and let's talk about what those details are. And Dan and Benny, we're definitely going to talk about some very good setups, and Adrian, that we have on yen pairs and that we have on Aussie New Zealand and pound dollar and all of those. So it's going to be very exciting. Lots of good stuff to cover today. Okay, so we have some news out. We've seen a little bit of news already. We've got a little bit more coming today. Some Aussie news, not a huge mover there, so we'll see how that one goes. Tomorrow we have a little bit of UK and some Chinese news, so it probably won't be a super active day tomorrow, but there should be some good stuff to get into. Then we have some big news coming on Wednesday. Interest rate announcements for New Zealand are always good, and unemployment numbers employment and unemployment numbers for Australia are always big movers as well, and that's Wednesday afternoon, so be ready for that. That should be pretty exciting. And then we've just got a whole slew of news announcements on Thursday. It's just a huge day of news announcements, retail sales, some Bank of Canada stuff, some Euro news, Swiss news. It's just all over the place. We got a lot of stuff coming up there. And then Friday we've got a little bit of news. Nothing too big, but enough to probably get the market moving fairly well. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I'm just going to post this Telegram link to remind everybody that you've got to get the old Telegram downloaded and running, and that'll be super good there. The next thing we want to look at, here's kind of some of the pairs that I'm watching for the moment. Excuse me. These guys, this isn't all of them, but here's some things that I'm looking at for right now that I think are going to be fairly interesting and should give us some good opportunities here. Yes, and that's a good point, Kevin. Definitely a good point. And yeah, the dollar CAD, we're going to talk about that one for sure. Okay, so we had a live session on Friday, and we had trades that triggered some euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar CAD trades. We locked in profit on those. Obviously, the euro dollar and pound dollar have turned around and stopped us out at break even. These were trades that I didn't have tons of time to put them in the trades area. They were trades from the live news event. So for those of you that attended the Friday live news, it was pretty active, and we had quite a few trades, and I sent those out on Twitter, just some charts for the afterward stuff. But while we with the live session, we posted some trades and had some nice entries and so on. Okay, thank you, Dennis. That is good to know. Thank you. Let me just restart this here one moment, and let's see where this one goes. Just give me 2 seconds here. I got to restart that real quick. Okay, I think, is everything working again? Do you guys see the list of euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar CAD, that stuff right there? Looks like the screen just got stuck for a moment. Okay, so we've had some nice trades. We've had some things come and go and pass through and make some moves and all of that stuff. So right now, euro dollar is looking interesting. I'm watching for a rally, possibly a break opportunity, or a possible opportunity to sell a rally up around 126.50. So if we look at the euro dollar, we can see this is a daily chart, and it's really making this massive falling wedge. I don't think anybody in their right mind wants to be getting long euro dollar too soon or yet or anytime soon, because it's really kind of, there's just bad news after bad news, and the U.S. seems so bullish right now. And we do have this huge falling wedge on the euro dollar. We have the indicator is working up some pretty good numbers here on the 4-hour and the daily. Everything's kind of setting up there. So I'm not doing anything on euro dollar for the moment until we get either a break of this area and a run up into that 126.50 area. And then I would definitely consider selling that rally, or we look for excuse me, or we look for this to kind of rally a little bit more, possibly bounce off this trend line, but it's just not giving us anything too soon to get into. So it could be a few more days. It could be a few more. I mean, I can't imagine too many more days, but it could be towards the end of this week that we get something to do on this euro dollar. So this falling wedge is just narrowing right here. If this breaks out, look for 126.50, and that breakout, remember, could happen anywhere around this 12400 area, so not super far off from where we are, but it's potentially pretty close. So let's be ready for that on the euro dollar. Okay, so that's euro dollar. That's what I'm looking for. Probably not a trade super soon, but something could be coming up. Pound dollar, we have a big daily trend line that's looking interesting, and I'm watching 160.50 on pound dollar. The pound dollar just looks like it can't help itself, and that it's headed into 160.50. And so if that is the case, once again, referring to the daily chart here, falling wedge, big falling wedge here. We had a big bullish candle right there, and it looks like it's trying to make its way higher. So I'm not in the pound dollar yet. I don't have a super clear level where I want to get in, but I think probably above 157.00 could get me started on a move on the pound dollar into 160. There's a nice 300 pip movement there, which I would be happy to have, and I would definitely grab some of that. But I'm just being very careful on euro dollar and pound dollar pairs right now. But again, most likely above 157.00, we could start getting a pretty decent move up on this pound dollar. Remember that we have pretty nice arrows here on the 4-hour and on the daily chart. and these are looking pretty good. So it's still low probability and low percentages, but we have a pretty decent setup and a pretty good price pattern. And Benny, you're very right. There's a whole cluster of missed pivots, which is why I'm targeting 160.50 is for that. There's a daily, weekly, and monthly pivot right in that 160 to 160.50 area. That's a great one, and 163 is a great one as well. Yes, I sure do use Fibonacci, absolutely, and we've looked at Fibonacci on this range several times. We've got some pretty good little levels here, but I don't know how applicable. It's going to be a big rally before this whole movement really starts happening. And remember, 23% fibs all the way up there. If that gets crossed, then yes, that could take us a bit more up into the ones, above 160, and so on. So that's kind of what we're looking for right there. So for the meantime, we're watching for a break. If this breaks, we should have some good buying opportunities on the pound dollar. So let's be super ready for some of that activity. And I think that's going to be pretty good. Dennis, what happened on December 4th? I don't think anything happened on December 4th. It just got pretty choppy in there. I'm sure there was some news. I'm not too sure. Okay, so that's pound dollar. So we're waiting. We're possibly long above 157. We'll just see where that one goes. 157 should be pretty exciting. So we'll see where that one goes. The dollar is definitely nearing this overextended area. Now, one chart that I wanted to have a look at real quick. This is the dollar index. And I've posted a chart. I posted a chart on this probably a few months ago at this point. The dollar index has a major, super major level that everybody's watching right now. Here's our high going all the way back on dollar index, and this is what's going to kind of give us that feel for, where things might be going in euro dollar and pound dollar and dollar yen and all these dollar pairs. We've seen a huge rally on the dollar over the last couple of months. But when we look at this super long-term activity, this goes back to 1985 as our high. The next testing point was about 2001, and then here we are right now on this dollar index, and you can see if we zoom this guy in a little bit, you can see that we're coming pretty nicely into this whole area here. We've got a ton of resistance around the 89.50, just below 89.50, just below the 90 level. There's tons of resistance on this dollar action right here, and it's run up to it from there. We were consolidated for months down around the 80 level. It's run up into 8900 and above. And now what we're looking for is if the dollar index can clear 89.50 and ideally that 90 level, which is not that far away. We're currently sitting at about 80. Where is that? There we go, about 89.15-ish area. So we don't have that far to go. If dollar index can clear this level, then all of these pairs, the pound dollar is going to crumble, the euro dollar is going to crumble, the dollar CAD is going to hit 120, the euro dollar is going to hit 115, the pound dollar is going to get back down into 150, at least. And so there's going to be some pretty severe movements if that happens. Now, we have to wait and we have to see where that's going to go, but it's that area that we're going to keep an eye on. There you go, Jose. You can have a look at the dollar index right there. So that's what we're looking for. That's what we want to keep an eye on as we watch these setups. So let's definitely keep that whole dollar index setup in mind. So again, we're just kind of taking it easy on euro dollar and pound dollar. I'd love to get long pound dollar above 157.00, but I will do so with a lot of caution. Sure, Adrian. Yeah, sure. Aussie dollar, as much as I want to have a setup on the Aussie dollar, I have nothing. I'd love to sell any kind of rallies, but I can't seem to get a rally to sell, and so I'm just sitting it out until we get something. So Aussie dollar's on the sidelines. Our dollar CAD is working very, very nicely. We got into the dollar CAD at the break of this high with non-farm payroll news. It's pulled back a little bit, and then it's just up, and away. So dollar CAD is looking very good, very, very good. We're long from Friday. And it's above this big resistance level, which is about the 114.50. 114.50 is the big guy on dollar CAD here. and it's cruising right above that with no major questions asked. So looking very, very good there. And you know, next major targets are after this 200 moving average, which isn't super far away, which is just about 115.50, which is a target we've been watching for a while. We're going to keep an eye on that, and that's probably going to cause a decent bounce. But beyond that, we have a lot of room to go on this dollar CAD. Remember, the dollar CAD is still trading around the lower areas, so there's a lot of room for this dollar CAD to head straight back on up again. So we're going to hold on and stay long for a little while. We'll look for that 115.50 to get hit, and you know, see if we can grab 100 pips on this trade. Should be a nice one. Just to have a quick little look-see at the dollar Swiss franc, we just have this nice rising wedge on the daily chart. Dollar Swiss franc's kind of like euro dollar. It's exactly like euro dollar, just in the opposite direction, and that is that it's getting interesting, but it's not there yet. I love that it had a pretty big price rejection candle off of the top of this rising wedge, which it did. It ran up, big wick, big red candle, and now it's kind of just going sideways and hanging in there and doing whatever it is that it needs to do before the next leg of movement comes on. Definitely this 97.50 area is worth keeping an eye on, and we're not super far away from that. But I'm just keep this in mind. If you're long dollar Swiss franc, be very cautious. We're at the top of a fairly well-tested rising wedge, and if this makes a break, then it should be good to go. So we'll watch it closely, but I'm not in this one just yet. Okay, so here is a big question mark. This is the one that has been very eluding. We're not in it. We have a pending order. We're still hoping for 10600. We want 10600 to get hit. We want something to happen there. And it's still just kind of bumping around here. And we really want to trade a buy entry if we get down to 10600. But I'm watching 10850 as well. 10850 is this guy right here. It was the high of December, or excuse me, of I'm on a 4-hour chart. There we go. It was the high of last week, which turned out to be a pretty nice little bottoming out pattern. And then we've kind of bumped against it here as well. Now this is a nice little channel. This is a little falling channel over the last month or so. It's been coming down through December, making its way down here, and it's starting to bottom out. It broke out, and it came back and tested this channel, and it's just sitting here. I'm watching this, and we may start to get long above 108.50. Remember, if we get in at around 108.50 or in that general area, we're still looking for about a 900 pip move on this pair. So there's tons of profit potential, and it's going to be a nice long-term, just massive trade that should be very good. And I'm pretty excited about this one, but we have to kind of watch and wait. It's still pretty tricky. This kind of a price pattern right here is not typically a small deal. We had a huge dip, another attempt, a big dip, another attempt, and then it's been coming down from this kind of triple top situation. So that's where I'm fairly confident we're going to see 10600. If I had to do something, long term right now, I would buy. I'd buy and just say, if this goes against me 500 pips, I'm okay with it. In the more medium term, I think we have a safer bet in shorting, because I just have a good hunch that this is going to make its way down. This is too large of a price pattern for this to just turn around and forget about all of that and head straight back up. So this is going to push down. We're going to see 10600 on Aussie New Zealand. In the process of that, we'll keep our eye out for any additional entries and things we can get into. But I'm just mostly concerned about getting into a 10600 buy position. But I will keep everyone posted in the group about whether we take some buy entries against 107.50, which is this which is our supports and our lows down here. This 107.50 is turning out to be a very strong area as well. So below that, there's a definite short for at least 150 pips. But if it stays above that, we may be able to get long against 107.50. So it's just a watching and waiting kind of a situation. but it's going to be a big mover, and we're going to have some nice nice entries on that one. For everyone that was watching, we had a pretty high probability 1 hour chart set up on the 1 hour. It ran down, bottomed out on Thursday and Friday, and then from that low ran up to the 200 moving average for 75 or 80 pips. Continued up a little bit more from there, and it's kind of run down. So I totally missed that entry, but it was a nice little indicator setup. So that's what we're looking for in Aussie New Zealand. That's going to be super, super exciting. Here is another one that I'm watching very closely, and that's gold. Now remember, sometimes, yes, we see bull and bear flags fail. They break out, they start to run, and then they run 1/10 of what the price projection tells us, and then they just pull back and they don't follow through and turn into a mess. That is pretty rare. That's pretty super rare, actually. Because what we see very often is the larger the time frame that we have a bull or bear flag, the more the better chance we have that that's going to play out. And so here's gold. Gold had this huge run up at the beginning of last week, and then it's just been consolidating since. Now, bull and bear flags are typically voided out when they retrace more than 50%, and this thing pulled back a good little bit, but didn't actually get that close to 50%. It got within 30 or 40 pips of 50%, but never touched it, and it's running back up. So gold is looking very interesting. This is a very nice bull flag. This is a great continuation pattern, and we're probably going to want to be long at the latest, above 12 area, but possibly much sooner above 1205, 1206. On gold. So this is a pretty nice run. This is a pretty big setup, and I think gold's got more long to go. So keep an eye on that. That's our whole gold setup right here. So it's that big bull flag that is definitely still in motion. As far as yen pairs go, a lot of people are asking about yen pairs, and I'm even asking about yen pairs. What are these yen pairs going to do? Where are they going to finally turn around? How much further do they have to go? I'm watching the dollar yen in particular, and we have the dollar yen which currently has arrows on everything, 1 hour, 4 hour daily chart. Everything's telling us that the market, that this particular pair is overbought on at least 3 of the major time frames that we look for. I'm not super anxious to get short in this one, even though we have a lot of arrows. It's not that I don't trust the system, but we've had a really hard time with these yen pairs and price patterns, and that's why we haven't really been, we haven't hardly traded them at all. The only yen trades that we've done lately is where we've traded in the direction of the trend, except for we did have a CAD yen trade that went pretty well. We ended up just closing out at break even, but the dollar yen just doesn't want to break. It's just having a heck of a time. It wants to continue higher, and that's kind of what it's been doing lately. So what I would like to do is I'd like to watch this channel. This is a little over a month's worth. This is since about since early November. I think a nice little pullback into the bottom of this channel. Yeah, Adrian. Yeah, below 120, just below 120. If we can hit 119.50. That general area, I think that's going to be a really good spot to get long dollar yen and just trade the channel. We can't go too terribly wrong with going in the direction of the trend on yen pairs right now, because what we have here is we have a very sharp kind of move up, and those don't typically just turn around and come right back down. This is kind of a retrace, go a little bit higher, consolidate, go sideways for a while, and then start coming down, kind of a thing. So this is kind of the setup that I want to keep an eye on. And Mel, yes, the yen has pulled back. We had a low of 120.20 a couple hours ago. I'd like to see this get just dip its head below 120. You could try to get in right now. The reason I'm being so cautious is because we have 3 arrows. Historically speaking, these are pretty serious movements away from the 200 moving average. So the dollar yen is definitely fairly overbought, and so I'd want to see more of a dip before I buy into this one, and that's where I need to see another 70 or 80 pips going about that. And that's a good point, Kevin. Yeah, 300 pips from a 10-year high. Yeah, so we're definitely coming into some pretty significant levels on this dollar yen. You can see going all the way back to all these areas. If we go back to about 2007, that big high right there is about 300 pips away. If we go back a bit further, you can see that the dollar yen has been quite a bit higher. If we go to the highs of 1998, even the highs of 2001 and the highs of 2007, we've got some room to go for this to continue up. But nothing can just go up forever, and so I'd like to get at least to 120 or slightly below, hit this 200 moving average, hit this business here on the 1 hour chart, and from there get long and trade this thing straight up. I think that's going to be a great little trade. We're going to be watching for that one. Okay. And a lot of these other yen pairs are doing, very similar things. Pound yen, same kind of situation, just running up and up and up and not giving us any kind of significant reason for a pullback. So pound yen's got very likely quite a bit more room to go. And we know historically speaking that it's had highs back in 2006, 7 area that are still, thousands of pips away. So the pound yen can go considerably higher. So we're going to be looking at buying some dips on this one. We have some pretty serious retracement candles and indications on the pound yen as well. So we're going to be watching that. We'll possibly have some sell trades around the break of this weekly low. There's over 100 pips to the 200 moving average in some of these missed targets. So there could be some nice entries on pound yen. But overall yen pairs, I want to buy dips. Euro yen, pound yen, dollar yen, I want to buy dips. We have some pretty serious Swiss franc news coming up later this week, and that's going to help us kind of determine what to do with this pound Swiss franc. I'm loving this pair, and this is going to have a huge trade, but it's not ready just yet. So we're keeping an eye on that one. That's a good point, Kevin. Let's have a look at the Aussie yen. This one is definitely pulling back more than the rest, and we're headed into kind of the final setup here on the 4 hour chart. We're just a few pips away from that 200 moving average, about 20 pips or so. So Aussie yen is looking pretty interesting for something like that, but we're going to watch this one. Yen pairs will be very, very good to watch Fibonacci levels, and I love Fibonacci levels on strong movements. And the yen pairs have all had fairly strong movements. The Aussie yen has just run straight up here, and it's just below that 23% fib. Now, to kind of remind everybody what we look for on fib pairs, the fact that the Aussie yen is below the 23% fib means we have a very excellent, super excellent chance of this reaching the 38% fib. There's like a 90% chance that we're going to get to that 38% fib, which is right down at about 98.60. So it's not a huge run, but there's 120 or so pips in there that we could see happen. So Aussie yen could be interesting for that. We're going to watch this one this week, but definitely some good stuff there. So big focus on writing out this dollar CAD, looking for entries on Aussie New Zealand, watching Aussie yen for sure, watching for the big bull flag on gold. Again, at the latest we'll be in long above 12.12, but possibly above 12.05 long. And then all these yen pairs, we're just waiting for that pullback. I'd like to see pretty much all the yen pairs pull back about 100 pips before we buy those dips. And I think if we do see a 100 pip pullback from where everything is right now, we'll have some great opportunities to buy some dips on pretty much all the yen pairs, except for the Aussie yen. That one could definitely head a bit lower. So and then we've got some pretty good stuff on euro dollar, and we've got some interesting stuff on pound dollar, but those ones might need a little bit of time to marinate, so to speak, and work their way on through. So we're headed in that direction. That's how everything's looking and going thus far. Does anybody have any questions about that? Are there some pairs you want to add, or some comments you want me to cover? Was there anything I wasn't too clear about that we need clarification? What do you guys think about all of that? There's some really, really good setups here and some fantastic long-term activities. So let's talk about that. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me any pairs that I missed, and let's make a bunch of money this week. We have some really, really great trade setups.